All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. Today's a big day. Today is the day that the Briggs engine is going to go on the bike. So this is an engine plate that I had left over from an old, I think this was a Schwinn Meridian Predator 212 kit. Yeah, anyway, so basically this engine plate's just been sitting around in my garage for 10 years. And I cut this part out previously for, I don't know if you can see that, but it was to mount those pillow block bearings on that electric bike that I built. So anyway, that's fine because this is for adjustment left and right. And we want adjustment forward and back in this case, or at least that would be more important. So I'm just lining it up, and we appear to have lucked out. See if I can show you guys this. So the holes actually line up with this Briggs 5-horse, and basically to get my adjustment, I'm just going to have to notch out those spots that are colored red in permanent marker, and then I can cut off this excess on top as well, and then save those tabs for some other project. But yeah, this plate, it's thick, so it might take a little bit of effort to notch that out. Ideally, you'd want a mill or something. I'm going to, let's see if I can find the bit. I'm going to try to get by with this drill bit. It's worked really well in the past for cutting notches. If that doesn't work, we'll try the Dremel, but that'll just take a lot longer. So, yeah. I'm going to just throw this into the vise, keep that bit oiled, and see if we can make some notches. Well, that drill bit kind of has a mind of its own. It's not super pretty. I'm obviously going to clean up that bottom part to fill the gap, and then up top I'll get rid of that little ridge there, but this part where it went up, there's not a whole lot I can do about that. I guess it's just more adjustment, right? Anyway, so I'm going to try to keep it straighter on the next set of holes that I do down here, and it looks like I'm going to be doing some filing and some Dremel work at the end as well. Well, it looks like this is mild steel because the file made quick work of that, and you know, it's not perfect, but it's good enough for me. Matches the build quality of the rest of the bike. So, yeah, I'll just go ahead and repeat the same process on these other 3 holes. So that first one was a little rough, but after I got a system down, I'm actually really happy with how these turned out. Considering the tools that I had to work with, that's an A+ right there. That is going to be perfectly functional. So, yeah, next step is just to cut these tabs off up top. Alright, after lots of grinding, I've removed that much of the metal that we don't need, and we now have a relatively even engine plate. I smoothed out the corners even, just so they don't get snagged on anything. So yeah, I guess I'll go ahead and bolt that onto the bottom of the engine, and then we get to see where it lines up on the bottom frame bar. Well, there we go. Engine plate lines up to the motor. Had to put a lot more elbow grease into this, filing the edges and stuff. But now we have full adjustment forward and back. Awesome. Alright, as you can see, we now have bolts on all 4 corners and washers so the bolts don't slide into the grooves there. So this engine mounting plate is ready to go. Okay, so I've added this exhaust bracket. This is actually off of a 2007 Toyota Corolla that holds the manifold up. So yeah, that bolted up right to these head bolts, and then I've added this little piece which was left over from the engine mounting plate, and it has a slide built in, so I think I'm going to utilize that as some sort of top bracket that ties into the top part of the frame here, just to give the bike a little bit more rigidity. Oh wow, this really showcases how bent up that rear wheel is. Whew! Yeah, that's going to take a little bit of work to true out straight. Anyway, I got the bike basically shimmed up and on a stand and where I want it, so I can make sure that the engine is sitting correctly in the frame without being, cocked from left to right. So basically I'm just gonna eyeball it like a gun sight and then set that engine on there, tack weld it in place, and then add some supports and lock it in. So I've been staring at this for about 10 minutes, just making little adjustments with this scissors jack. I got my straight edge on there, which isn't very straight to be honest, but just kind of sighting it in here, and I think we're good. I just don't want the clutch to be off like this way or this way, because then it'll throw the chain. But I think some of that can be made up with the jack shaft, but not everything. I think we're close enough though. Yeah, ignore that super bent wheel. Yeah, I think we're close enough where I can tack it in place and start making supports. And if it's a little off, I'll just notch out the motor plate a little bit more with the file and then twist the engine if I need to. But yeah, that's looking good. One thing you always forget is how wide these engines are in order to get the clutch where it needs to be. You have to have your motor like almost all the way to the right, which is a little funky, but you can see here. But yeah, it's not perfectly balanced weight-wise left to right, but I just don't want a jack shaft sticking out way the hell out there. It's already going to be out like probably 4 or 5 inches. But yeah, I think at this point we just send it. Well, that was a lot of work, but the engine is tacked in. I'll flip around the camera and show you. So what I did here is I tacked up with really big welds on the front and back of the bottom plate, and then I bent and cut this top support so that it would line up, and then spaced it with some washers as well, and then welded that into the top bar, and it's looking pretty sturdy. So next step is to take the engine off and finish welding in the other sides of these motor mount plates. Okay, I've unbolted the engine, and let's see if everything still moves and comes out of place. Awesome! So I can now remove the engine whenever I need to work on something. That is awesome. That was a bit of an engineering feat. So now I guess I will just flip over the bike and keep on welding. Alright. By flipping it upside down, I was able to weld up this side of the top bracket, and then also add some support welds on the other side so it won't want to teeter. And I also did some up front, and there is a little bit of a gap, which is to be expected because we have 2 different diameter bars and that weld in the middle and then a little bit of a bend. So I would like to weld it all the way up, but that's just a lot of filler and probably not really necessary, honestly. This should be enough. I mean, that's as much weld as there is like on that part of the pipe or down there. But just to be on the safe side, I think I'm going to finish stripping this paint with a wire brush and then make some sort of bracket that comes from here to there, and here to there, and so on over here as well. So far I've been really good about making sure that I have room for the nuts and bolts to slide and to be removed. So I just need to make sure that when I make these brackets that they don't interfere with mounting the engine. So I made some gussets here. These are from a rusty old muffler clamp. Anyway, basically these are gonna just sit, well, they're still really hot, but basically I'm just gonna weld them like that. Alright, I went ahead and got those gussets welded up, and then I cleaned it up a little bit with the wire brush and the angle grinder. See if I can get this in focus here. Easier said than done. There we go. So yeah, I decided to offset them just so they didn't run into each other under the bar. There, camera needs to stay in focus. Anyway, yeah, this plate, probably still hot, but oh yeah, that's toasty. Anyway, it is super duper strong. So I'm just gonna go ahead, flip it over, and bolt up the motor again. Alright guys, the motor is bolted down and it looks awesome. I'm at a loss for words. It's just so sick. It is so sick. It is so ridiculously oversized for a pedal bicycle, even one that's been stretched. So yeah, I'll flip the camera around and show you. Yeah, check that shit out. God, that is awesome. This motor is so huge for this bike. Like, here, I'll give you a point of view. If you're sitting on the bike, yeah, that's all motor just hanging out. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. This is gonna be so much fun to ride. Oh, I can't wait. Man, this is awesome. And man, do I have a mess to clean up. Anyway, that's the bike. Alright guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, make sure to give us a thumbs up. If you want to see more of this bike build, make sure to subscribe. Hit that notification bell. You'll get notified every single time I upload a video. And yeah, there are going to be more Briggs bike videos to come. So I'll catch you guys next time.